But anyways, this discussion we were telling the young boys and the young people here, this is, of course, how Satan destroys your life and your potential for marriage, because you're now being trained by the archangel into what is proper relational, what is relational in your marriage. And you watch this crap enough, then you start thinking, oh, well, what's so wrong about swinging? What's so wrong about having sex, watching my wife have sex with another woman? That's kind of, there's two naked women together. Well, what's so wrong with us swap? You see what I'm saying? Then it becomes all this deviance. What's so wrong? Everybody's doing it. And now your godly marriage is an ungodly marriage, and now you will reap all the diseases and syphilis and all the STDs and all the spiritual STDs that come with that. You'll contract all the viruses of hell. And it will shut down and destroy your marriage and your children and your lineage. Excuse me. And then, of course, on the flip side, you have, so that's the men's adrenaline that comes from that porn. Women's adrenaline that comes from that romance, those dramas. Same as porn, it's women porn. They get that dopamine high from seeing those romantic guys, wooing those girls, and the triangles of love that are created in those dramas, and the suspense and the drama and the waiting and the stories. They get the same dopamine high effect as the boys who are watching porn, or guys who are watching porn. And then they have to watch more dramas to get that same dopamine high. They have to see it more. They have to imagine, fantasize more. They have to fall in love more with these fake actors to feel like they're in the fantasy and in love and romance. And of course, it sabotages and totally obliterates any heart of gratitude in their mind or heart for their husband. Because now they're being educated by the fallen Eve. Promiscuity. Falling in love with the bad guy who's a predator. Falling in love with the romancer. Feeling excitement in the triangles of love and splitting up marriages and committing adultery. All these things that we see in dramas, which become mainstream and normalized behaviors, which destroy women's life and make them addicted to women porn. But it's the same processes. It's the seeking of pleasure and the dopamine hormone. And of course, stimulated with adrenaline. And as women see those relationships unfold and see the suspense and the crying and they're being pulled and the emotions are being tugged this way and that way. And all of a sudden those triangles are breaking and, oh my goodness, it was that girl. And oh my goodness, it was that guy. And that dopamine mixing with that adrenaline. And your thirst for more just continues. And you have to watch not only one drama, you have to watch the second one, third, fourth, fifth. There's the Han mothers watching 5, 6 dramas at a time. And they come out every week. She's completely addicted. You're talking about 5 to 6 hours of Korean dramas for 20 plus years. Complete addiction. Can you imagine if a man was watching 5 to 6 hours of pornography for 20 years? You would say that's a problem, right? And we can see what happened. It completely eviscerated any heart of gratitude she had towards the Lord of the Second Advent. I mean, that was how crazy it is. Towards all the gifts and comforts and that he provided her and love that he provided her. But we see that women who get addicted to women porn, that is Korean dramas or related type of dramas, it totally destroys your marriage. Every time they look at their husband, he's falling short. Every time they look at their husband, he's inadequate. Every time they're looking at his husband, he's not fulfilling them like these dramas are. Well, you could say the same with male porn then, addicted to males who are addicted to pornography, which then, of course, destroys their marriage relationship. Because they're getting trained that, okay, whenever you want to have sex, you just turn on the TV, click a button, and you see some ladies shouting and moaning and getting banged. It's so, both Korean dramas and pornography is so self-centered. It's so selfish. It's so centered on you. It has nothing to do with another person that you love and you have a deep relationship with. And even though you're so horny and you really want to, make love to your wife, but she's, has this or that issue, then you're able to wait. You're able to wait for her. Or you love your husband so much that when he's really sexually charged and you love the man, but you're not necessarily in the mood, but you know that he's a good man and he's a righteous man and he's there for you. And you say, "Oh honey, I'm gonna make love to you because I love you." You see what I'm saying? Being able to be there for your spouse. I mean, mature couples can do this, right? Mature couples can do this. Is it Mark on this program? One of the programs here, Christian programs. For men, sexuality is such an important thing. It's the way that they release the vasopressin. Is it vasopressin? I think that's for women. I think vasopressin is for women. Anyways, the hormone is released, which they connect, which then connects you more to that spouse that you're having sex with. That's both in men and women, but especially for men. Especially for women. But for men, it's very important to have, sexual intimacy with a spouse. Critical for the sanity of that marriage and for the health of that marriage. That sex life is so important to have that kind of, healthy sex life in marriage. And you can say, well, why do men have to have sex all the time like that? Well, why do women have to always talk about stuff? Why do women all have to talk things through? It's literally like that. It's like this for the release that women feel when they talk things through. That feeling of coming to grips with something. That feeling of release, that emotional stress that's been released. That necessity to be able to experience freedom from that frustration and oppressive force. Right? That's how important a healthy sex life is for your marriage, especially for your man. It's so important. And of course, it's the gateway for him to open his heart and to become more communicative, to actually become more grateful. And studies have shown that healthy couples, even 20 years into their marriage, are having sex 3 times a week. Very healthy. At least 3 times a week. At least. Basically every other day, they're having sex. They're having that much intimacy. They're that close. They're touching each other all the time. They're expressing so much sort of overabundance of love and intimacy and sexuality. And then in that environment, that's such a healthy environment for children because it's glorifying marriage. Right? You're not doing this with other women. You're doing this only with your wife. The husband and wife is overflowing in their energy, their attraction energy, their romantic energy, their sexual energy for one another. So when young people who grow up and they want to feel that, they want to have that with somebody else, but they see that only in dramas and clubs and in stupid music videos that are pushing for free sex culture, they can't juxtapose that to a dad and mom who are always in love with one, always sort of in that romancing, dating period. The husband is always trying to romance the wife. The daddy's always trying to romance the wife. He's always trying to play with her. And the wife loves that. She's always happily being chased. And in that kind of relationship, there's so much skinship, there's so much natural touching. And so when those parents' children grow up around that environment, they're taught by the secular world to see that as, oh my gosh, my parents are always there. They're taught to see that in a negative way. Or taught that it's cool amongst your friends to say, yeah, my parents and my parents are always touching each other, but like this. They're taught, they're sociologically, psychologically programmed to see that as a negative thing, even though from instinctually they want that. And then they're taught that sexuality with millions of people and free sex culture and club life, that's really what's wonderful. When it's fleeting, when it's ephemeral, when people use and abuse you, when it's tied to narcotics and alcohol, and when it's tied with venereal disease, genital warts, syphilis, AIDS, HIV, you name it. And of course, devastating, cracking, and splitting hearts. But when the dad and mom have a powerful romantic and sexual energy, and there's always touching, there's always joking, and there's always playfulness, and there's always this wonderful male and female power, right? I think that's what people feel always around. I mean, even people who are near the Queen and me, you will feel that type of positive energy coming out from us. What do they mean, the positive energy? Well, I'm always romancing her. I'm always after her. I'm always sexual, sexual energy with her. And that creates an incredible vibe. It creates a positive vibe. It creates a vibe where I'm always happy and playing around and joking and, trying to get smiles from her. Trying to romance her. And that creates an incredibly positive vibe, an incredibly positive energy. And anybody who's around us knows that the king makes that kind of energy. And how healthy is that? Because all my kids see that. And they see that in marriage. If you understand the right skill set, you will have that too. You will have that kind of powerful, uplifting, inspiring relationship, which in the end, that's the reason why people are going bonkers and doing all this stuff to try to get that kind of relationship that God has blessed us with.